Yesterday, we were able to figure out our main topics that we are going to write about for our essay. So we found three similarities, three differences, and then three reasons why you like the book or the movie better. Today, we're going to go into the biggest part of the essay, which is the body paragraphs, or what I'd like to say, the meat. So I'm going to start off by kind of explaining an example using the Three Little Pigs and Little Red Riding Hood because I'm pretty sure most of us have read those stories. So it'll kind of be a good way to explain, give an example, and model for you exactly what you should be doing with the book and the movie. So today our goal is to be able to map out the body paragraphs and using supporting examples from the text or the movie. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about the Three Little Pigs and Little Red Riding Hood. Now they're not the same story, so we're not going to compare the movie to the book, but we're going to compare the Big Bad Wolf in each of the stories. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to discuss how the Big Bad Wolf is in the Three Little Pigs. Now he is mainly trying to blow down the houses so he can get to the pigs. So that's what he tries to do, but he could not blow down the third house. And then my third final thing about the wolf and the Three Little Pigs is that he's kind of mean and scary. He's trying to intimidate the little pigs to get them to come out of the home. Now, on the other hand, Little Red Riding Hood, the wolf tries to trick Little Red Riding Hood. He's not trying to trick her in the Three Little Pigs, or he's not trying to trick the pigs. He's just trying to get them. He also tries to pretend to be grandma. Now, since he's trying to trick her and pretending to be somebody else, I think this would constitute him as being clever and smart. So this is how they are different, and how he's different in both of the books. But how he is the same would be that he's hungry. Like, right? He's trying to eat the pig. He's trying to eat Little Red Riding Hood. He ends up dying in both of the stories, and he tries to eat the main characters. So those are the three things that kind of are the basis for both of the stories. Now, we want to be able to write in our diagram. So this is your diagram you're going to use. I'm just going to use the example of these short stories and try and give you examples for each of them. I already wrote out my topic sentence so that I could save some time for you, and here's how it sounds like. My topic sentence for my first paragraph, which is going to be about the similarities, is going to be the big bad wolf shows characteristic traits of a not so nice animal in both the Three Little Pigs and Little Red Riding Hood. Now you can see that I italicized both the titles of the books because they are books. You should do the same thing for the book and the movie, Freak the Mighty and the Mighty. So a topic sentence is all it's doing is explaining what that paragraph is going to be about. So I'm just talking about how the wolf isn't a really good guy. Not so nice animal, he's kind of bad. Hence the name Big Bad Wolf. Now I want to state one detail about how they're similar. Well, we just talked about that a couple minutes ago. We talked about how he is hungry. Okay, so one detail we could say is Big Bad Wolf is very hungry in both stories. Now, I'm not going to do this because I don't have the book, but right down here where it says explain, you want to provide evidence. Okay, so I could say on we'll just say page 4. On page 4 in Little Red Riding Hood, it states, then I'm going to use a comma and a quotation mark. This is where you will insert your quote. You'll have a period and then end with another quotation mark. You're inserting your quote about how it proves that maybe he's hungry. Okay, so maybe he's trying to eat grandma or something on this page. Then I'm going to go to my next detail. Well, my next detail was that he tries to eat the main characters. So I could say, because the big bad wolf was so hungry, he decided to try and eat the main characters. And once again, you want to provide evidence. So I could say the same thing. Maybe I'll use the Three Little Pigs this time. In the Three Little Pigs, the wolf tried, it states on page 7, and then use a quotation marks about how the wolf tried to eat the main characters. And finally, my third detail we said was that he dies. Unfortunately, Big Red Wolf dies in both stories while trying to satisfy his hunger. And then maybe I can find a page where he dies in both of the stories, and you'll just explain it right there. Always remember to use your page number and include quotation marks. Finally, you want to summarize your paragraph by closing it up. So I just say, to sum it all up, the Big Bad Wolf is just that, big and bad. That kind of explains how I talked about the similarities between the two books. Then your second paragraph is going to be all about how the book and the movie are different. So once again, you're just pulling that information that we talked about yesterday from that Google document. Literally just go in there, copy and paste, and kind of spice it up a little bit. So I said, it is often said that the wolf is the same in both stories, but let's see how he is different. So now I know I'm going to talk about the differences. One detail we said about how he is different is that he tries to blow the house down in one, and the other one he tries to trick Little Red Riding Hood into doing something like that she doesn't want to do. So we could say the wolf tries to trick one character, but also tries to take the other characters' homes. And then once again, provide your evidence. It's going to be hard for the movie. So in the movie, you're not going to be able to use quotation marks and a page number because there's no page numbers. Just try and summarize it and just say the movie said that, and then I'll be able to understand. So moving on to another thing about how they're different, we could talk about maybe how he's mean and scary in one and clever and smart in the other. The wolf is mean and scary in the Three Little Pigs, but clever and smart in Little Red Riding Hood. Maybe you want to explain why this is important. Because in order to try and trick Little Red, he had to be smart and clever. He wasn't just trying to be mean and scary because she wasn't going to fall for that. But now the pigs, they probably wouldn't have fallen for tricks. They were more so afraid of how the wolf looked. So explain that statement, or you can use quotations from the story to help you explain that. And my final one that we could talk about is maybe how he pretends to be the grandma and then how he couldn't believe. He fails to take the main characters in his deception. He tried to blow the brick house down, but couldn't. He also tried to pretend to be Little Red's grandma. Now, most of the time you're going to use maybe one sentence in these boxes, but sometimes you'll want to use two or three to help convey your idea a little bit more. So there's my three things about how they're different. And then my closing up sentence I chose was all in all, which just means like finally or overall. Though while the wolf chose some different behaviors in the story, he still remained the same bad man that he was. I know it's a wolf, but I just put man. Sums it all up, kind of just rephrases what I already talked about in my paragraph. So boom, done. 2 paragraphs completed. The last paragraph is going to be if you like the book or the movie better. So you'll have your topic sentence once again. Even though there's similarities and differences, I preferred the movie over the book, period. And then you're going to say 3 reasons why. Now, because I didn't choose a movie and a book, I chose 2 books. I'm actually not going to go through this one, but you kind of understand the point. Just copy those things you put from your Google Doc from yesterday, and then you want to sum it all up. Now, sometimes it's hard to do these transition sentences. Your closing and your topic sentence are called transitions. So I put some little helpful hints for you in the assignment that I posted today. If you're not sure, use words like, if you're comparing, like additionally, as well as, besides, likewise, to begin with. If you're doing to show differences, you can use in contrast, in spite of, although, however, regardless. And then if you just really want to show um, some emphasis, you can say, in fact, even, indeed. This might be where you use these for your third paragraph, talking about which one you liked better. And then if you want to explain something, you can use some of these transition words as well. You can also Google to try and find how to transition into different paragraphs, but mainly the first sentence explains what you're writing. The last sentence for that paragraph explains what you just wrote. That's just kind of the key phrase there. Try and use bigger words or more complex sentences because now we're in 7th grade. But if you have questions, always feel free to email me. But the meat paragraphs are what you should have done for today.